Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Jay Encarnacion, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we are thrilled to have Geraint Clarke, the co-founder and CEO of MTHD Marketing. Garant brings an extraordinary background, starting as a sales trainer at 17, closing multi-million dollar deals by 24, and leading campaigns that have generated over $100 million in revenue. Based in New York, MTHD Marketing, founded in 2024, is revolutionizing how businesses grow through innovative email marketing, paid ads, and branding strategies. We'll be exploring his founding story, how his agency delivers results like a $500,000 Kickstarter campaign, and his vision for scaling this results-driven venture. So let's dive right in. Geraint, welcome to Founders Future.
Thank you, Jay. Thanks for having me.
An absolute pleasure having you on the show today. So let's start at the very top for our listeners here, Geraint. Take us back to the beginning. What specific problem in the marketing landscape really inspired you to start MTHD Marketing?
Yeah, I think I have to go back to my early 20s to really figure out the inception of this idea. But I used to work for a big enterprise business, tens of millions a year in turnover, and I was forbidden from following a digital marketing strategy. But I went rogue, like Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible, and decided to just do it anyway. And that strategy was to send some of that sour candy to a YouTuber in Finland. So I sent him the free product and he made a video of him eating all the sour candy at once in a cereal bowl. It turned into hundreds of thousands of euros worth of sales of that candy across all the Nordic region within Europe. And I realized the power then of effective digital marketing. And we were such a big enterprise that there was a budget and it was seen as a target. It was like, we have to hit this target. We're given 500,000 a year to spend on marketing. So they would just do anything that they could to spend that money. So their budget wasn't cut for the following year. And they had absolutely no way of knowing whether or not it was effective. They were just in a pattern of doing the same thing again and again. So that always stuck with me. I followed a career then, obviously, of producing results. So that when I got to create my own agency, it was specifically about results-driven marketing. We don't do anything that we can't tie back to actual results. And I think that's what's speaking to business owners right now, because all of the ideas of, oh, wouldn't it be great to have a TikTok? Wouldn't it be great to be on an influencer's Instagram and get 10,000 impressions? The reality is, if it doesn't translate to sales, it's not effective. And unless you've got a budget that's given to you, like a government budget that you can afford to waste, it's not a practice that you can afford to continue. Yeah, that's really what started it for me. And when it came to doing my agency, it was like, oh, I have to make sure that we're doing this for business owners.
Absolutely. No, just incredible with how you had the wherewithal being there, going off, going rogue, and then look at what it can blossom into. So just incredible. That's how it started and look at where you are now. So being that you've had that much experience in this space, you've seen so much success already, Geraint, talk to us a little bit about a misconception that people often have about the marketing industry, especially around the value of results-driven campaigns or its scalability as a company. What can you address for us on that front?
Probably that you can make something good or not. That's the biggest misconception. The misconception is that marketing tricks people into buying something that they didn't want to buy. And really, what it's doing is finding buyers effectively. So, people that would likely buy that product on their own anyway, it's finding them more easily and being able to communicate the message of the product or service more easily. Probably the biggest misconception: you can't sell a bad service or a bad product. No matter how much money you throw at it, it's just not going to work.
Absolutely. Absolutely. With that, I would definitely love to get into understanding the nuts and bolts of MTHD marketing, especially for our listeners who can end up coming to you and being clients of yours. Help us understand how you're really generating revenue today as far as the core offer. So when the client comes to you, what can they expect to see? What are the services you're offering there?
Yeah, we're a full service agency. So just to give everyone a bit of a background, really, it's like we're not playing with house money. We own e-commerce businesses of our own. We own a vineyard in California that operates as a wedding business. So every mistake that a business owner could make, every scenario, every opportunity to get sued, to lose product, to get stolen from, we've seen all of the good, the bad, and the ugly through doing it for ourselves for years. So there really is no surprise for us within the structure of a business. And what it allowed us to do is build a team of trusted people over the last 25 years of running our own business as an e-com side. We made relationships with videographers, photographers, and we brought all those people onto payroll. So a lot of agencies, they outsource the work, they send it off to third world countries, and we don't do that. Everyone is on staff. They've been with us for years. They're very trusted. So the major difference for people is that element of care, and then obviously the access to every knock-on effect that you create. So if your ads are not converting, sometimes it might be a bad website. Sometimes it might be that the website needs work. The beauty of what we offer is the fact that we have website people in-house that can make those amendments or make changes or even start fresh and build something fresh. So having that immediate access for clients is probably the thing that stands out.
So really just providing everything around the marketing side for companies. Is there a specific client that you like to work with, whether they're small businesses, e-commerce businesses, larger businesses? Is there anything specific on that front, or whoever's a fit you work with there?
I'll tell you my favorite story from this year so far. And it's become a preference for me, which is that we like to, we like whoever we can help the most. And there's a sense of excitement and purpose around the team when you take someone from the gutter to actually being able to produce insane results. So I met a guy in Vegas just by chance in January. He said, "What do you do?" I said, "I run a marketing agency." He's okay, I'll take your number. Maybe I'll be in touch. About 10 days later, he sent me this really emotional text message. I've lost 6 grand on my ads this month. I'm in the hole. Can you please help me? It was a Sunday. I decided to jump on a call with him, and I saw that his Google ads were advertising to the wrong location. So he has a physical location. Whoever set them up at the wrong location. So he was just pouring money down the drain. None of it was working. And we got him set up. I fixed it there and then on the call for him. He became a client. The month that preceded that was his best month of business ever. Then the next month he was with us was his best month of business ever. And now this month, we've got another day and a half to go. He's on trend for this to be his best month ever. So for me, that's the story that I get most excited about. Someone who's gone from losing money to now making a ton of money.
So with that being said there, help us understand a bit of what's working best for you. Obviously, you're helping all your customers and clients with getting customers and bringing in and scaling their companies. What's working best for you guys right now, whether that be referrals and word of mouth or running ads or social media organic? What does that look like on that side?
Yeah, it's absolutely Google Ads. So without a doubt, a lot of agency friends of mine, they get all of their referrals through cold email. Any meetings booked, any clients, it's all cold email for them. What we really do well is Google Ads. So, the return on ad spend for our e-com store on Google Ads is 11.4. So for every dollar we throw into it, we get $11.4 back. And we took all of that learning and all of that expertise, put it onto the agency, and yeah, it's absolutely the number one thing. So for us, we've scaled phenomenally in the last 6 months, and I'd say 90% is Google Ads.
Incredible. 11.4x on ROAS is on an unbelievable number. Being in the space and talking to so many founders, that is something that so many people strive for. So you guys are hitting the nail right on the head. Just incredible being able to have you on the show and walking us through that. As far as the sales process, you're seeing so much success. You clearly have the passion, the drive, the intelligence to be helping your clients and taking them to that next level. What does your sales process look like internally as far as the team you have in place from bringing a client on, walking them through and signing them to a deal? Is it you running the show on the sales side, or do you have a sales team as well in place? Mark, I know you have a marketing team and people working on web development. What does that look like internally?
Yeah, it's really interesting. So I'm an open book
Yeah.
and I'm quite casual in the way that I speak, not very corporate, not traditionally aligned with that corporate mentality as well. So I think when I initially started to be on sales, people were resonating with the fact that I've been there, done that, and I was able to give them very specific answers to the questions that they had. And I tried to build out a sales team, but none of them could match my close rate. And it's because they were reading off a script. I did that for 2 months, tried to increase their close rate, but the realization I had was that it just wasn't authentic coming from them. So what I did instead was build out all of the implementation side of the business, and all the staff that I hired after that was to take me away from any implementation. And now I handle all the sales myself.
Incredible. And that's the beauty of the show, right? Is listening to how many different sides there are to being a founder, right? Because we have so many founders on the show that do the opposite, right? They want to pull themselves away from sales, focus on fulfillment. But for you, you see your strong suit is talking about your passion, right? And that right there is just a testament to why it's so important to just do what you're most passionate about, do what works best. And hopefully our listeners are tuning in there because there's so many different ways to find success and achieve success. And that's a perfect example of what you're doing, making sure that all the automation and implementation goes for that fulfillment side of things so you can focus your attention on what works best. Just beautiful on that front. So talk to us, Geraint, here then of how your mind is working right now with how much success you're seeing, where you're fully focused on, knowing that you can really drive so much business with your ability to sell. What's your biggest bottleneck right now that you're thinking about on a day-to-day, whether that be lead generation, converting them into clients, delivering the services on the fulfillment side? What does that look like?
Yeah, our biggest bottleneck right now is probably on the design side. So obviously we do logos and websites for people, and you can't run ads until those funnel pages, sales pages, or websites are actually done. And that's the longest part of the process. So there's always a holdup in that area. But to find the talent that can be diverse enough to produce the artwork for every style of client in every niche that you could expect is a much, much harder task. I've got a guy, he's one of the co-founders. His name's Oban Jones. I've been working with him now for 11 years, and he can turn his hand to any style of design. I've never seen anyone like it. Like
Yeah.
from a packaging point of view, from a logo point of view, it just flows out of him as if it's coming from the ether. He's just incredible. So I've been spoiled in that respect, and now it's hard to find someone that can operate at his level. So the biggest bottleneck for us right now isn't the client acquisition side, it's actually the design side, which is the bit that's probably the hardest because it takes the longest to do. And yeah, I think just one more thing to add to that, which is there is no replacement for hard work. So almost everyone I know that hasn't seen the success that I've seen tries to automate themselves out of the business. So they say, oh, I've got this new idea for a funnel. I've got this great new process that does this. And they've got no money and no clients. And there really is no secret other than to do it. You just got to do it. So I'm 35. It's actually my birthday today.
Happy birthday. That's incredible.
Thank you,
Appreciate you coming
Jay.
on the show on your big day.
Thank you so much. And yeah, so I'm 35. I'm young. If I was to retire to a beach, I would go stir crazy without anything to do. So I enjoy it. There's a gamification of business that I love, and growing a business and seeing that payoff that I think is really interesting for everyone. And any entrepreneur that's listening to this will probably think the same, that you get your first sale, then your second, and your 10th, and your 100th. It just feels incredible. So, yeah, from an implementation side, I don't know if I would necessarily take a step back this early on. I think I'd have to develop those staff members and those new hires to be at a level that Oben's at, as an
Mm.
example, where I could go away for 3 months and the quality wouldn't suffer. I think it's probably a big risk to a lot of business owners, but what they do is they work themselves out of the business too quickly and the quality takes a dive and they lose all their customers. Whereas right now, in the last 6 months, we haven't had one client churn, not one.
Yeah.
So
That just speaks volumes, and it speaks even higher volumes for the fact that it's your birthday, you're on the show, continuing to build your brand, grow. It just really shows the dedication that you have and how much you love and the passion you have for this. Truly a pleasure, Geraint, having you on the show. Just incredible what you've accomplished so far, being just 35 years old. Absolutely incredible. Talk to us about what your vision is now. As you mentioned, you could retire right now if you wanted to. So what are you really looking forward to, and how are you planning on continuing to scale MTHD over the next year? What are you locked in on, laser focused on, whether that be any specific revenue targets, performance targets, what kind of goals you're aiming for now?
yeah, so when I started this, it was to it was in response. I don't know if any of your listeners are aware, they probably are. There's a business guru called Alex Hormozy.
Yes.
I went to one of his conferences and we'd achieved success in our niche of
Mhm.
what we were doing, but there's only so many events that you can run at the vineyard in a year, and there's only so many magic tricks that you can sell on illusionist.com. So we ended up being in a position where I'm sat at the back of the room and I'm listening to these entrepreneurs' stories, and I realized how many people needed marketing. They knew nothing about ads, nothing about good copywriting, but they just happened to be in these big, wide blue oceans in terms of markets.
Mhm.
And one lady in particular, she was selling $15 million of pre-owned luxury handbags a year. And she had all the connections, and it was all done through iMessage. She would speak to Beverly Hills housewives, buy their old stock, then speak to all of her friends. She would rent them out and then upsell the people that rented them to say, you rented this out. Now your friends are going to see that you don't actually own it the next time you go out. Do you want it for this much? And she was converting it like crazy. But there's going to become a certain point, whether it's this year, next year, 5 years, where she encounters competition or where she encounters a lack of supply or where she encounters an exhaustion of her client list. And then she's going to need to know marketing. And she didn't. So I call up my business partner. I'm like, meet me in Vegas.
Yeah.
We need to talk. He lived in Sacramento, so he just it's an hour flight. So he flew in, and I said, we need to open a marketing agency. So many people don't know. We all assumed as a
Yeah.
team that everyone knew what we knew. And it was only at that event, speaking to those other 50 multimillionaire founders, that I realized, wow, marketing is a skill that many people just don't have. They just don't have. So yeah, that was the impetus to like really do that. And it came from nowhere. It just came from going to a networking event.
Absolutely incredible. Just really focused on continuing to build on that and continuing to scale it is the main focus there. So what do you currently see right now with AI and just the evolution and how quickly things are continuously improving and the advancements? What do you personally see the marketing industry evolving to in the coming years, Geraint? And how are you positioning MTHD to stay at the forefront of that evolution?
Yeah, so one thing we advertise is that we don't farm out the work to third world countries
Yeah.
and we don't run it through ChatGPT. And I'm really positioning the business with the human touch and an element of human creativity because all LLMs do is learn what we like best. So most marketing will be repeated and stagnant because the more people that use ChatGPT or Claude or Grok to get headlines, the more similar those headlines will be worldwide. So what we're trying to do is zig while everyone else is zagging. and make sure that we're being very unique in what we're producing. So in terms of tools for AI, I just don't it's interesting. It's a fad. Wow, you can make product photography now, which is great. It allows you to mock up those things, but you can't capture a vibe. You're going to lose all that lifestyle element. You can't use interesting models. You can't capture a moment that's happening live in time. All of that stuff's still going to be around. So I think it's good for people to do proof of concept, but when it comes to taking your business seriously, people are still going to need marketing professionals long term.
Yeah. No, I could not agree more. And I think that's the beauty of it is we know that AI is obviously being utilized heavily, but again, as you mentioned, that human touch is never going to go away. And ultimately, AI needs humans to prompt it. I think the path that you're going down of really keeping it as human as possible is the reason why you're continuing to see so much success, why you're achieving that growth that you're seeing. So just amazing all around of what you've been able to achieve this far. So I just want to take us into a bit of a lightning round before we close. Honestly, wish we could stay on this for hours. I could talk to you all day, but do want to wrap it up for our listeners here. So talk to us about a tool or a resource, being that you're not heavily utilizing AI. What is something that you're using that's just been a game changer right now for MTHD?
Wow. Okay. I'll give people a feel. You can go to appsumo.com and you can buy software deals on there. I bought TidyCal for meeting bookings and actually built a CRM with Slack and Notion. So you can save on massive software bills with these big Salesforce style CRMs with a lot of the smaller technology companies right now. So I'd say definitely those. We do use AI to train us on people's businesses. So if, I'll give you an example. We actually had an AI company become a client of ours, and I'm under NDA, so I can't exactly say what it is, but there's a lot of technical knowledge in there that we needed to attain quickly in order for us to package up what the correct sales proposition would be. So training us on their language and how they speak and what the industry would prefer to Google. Do they call it GPU as a service? Do they call it platform as a service? And do they say water cooled? Do they say liquid cooled? And if we can get all those things, it helps to get quicker keyword research and it helps us to bring our team up to speed a lot quicker. So it's not that we don't ever utilize AI as a tool, it's just that we don't utilize it on client work to just do the work for us. So yeah, I'd say TidyCal, I think it's $39 for a lifetime subscription. It's been a game changer for us as well.
I love it. And then just last question for our listeners here, and I'm excited to hear this one from you. That's just going to be what is a piece of advice, right? Someone of your stature who's seen so much success from an early age, still so young, and just have so much grind and aptitude for what you're doing and so much passion. What can you offer to our listeners, other founders, entrepreneurs, either just starting out or in the middle of it and want to have that success that you're seeing?
Yeah, I would say implement quickly and
Mm,
fail quickly
mm.
and iterate quickly. So not everything I do is a winner, but I do things so quickly that I'll figure out whether it's a winner or not before anyone else comes up with their idea or does it. So I could be walking the dogs at 4 p.m. I have an idea. I call my team. It's live by 5 p.m. and we're testing it. And a lot of people have meetings for meetings or they talk about it for a long time and they don't actually just do it because they're afraid it'll fail. And I'm not afraid of that because no one bats 100. You will swing and miss sometimes. So as long as you're not afraid to fail, then you can test so many more ideas.
So extremely powerful and really hope a lot of our listeners were tuning in there because failure is a part of the journey and look at what it can get to you if you continue to push past the failure. You can see so much success and Garant is a perfect example of that. And
I'll
with
tell
that,
you one more thing, Jay, just
yeah,
because I think this is also valuable too.
yeah.
When I met my now wife, who
Mm.
at the time was my girlfriend, I didn't have a TV. So I didn't have one. And I had a marketing blog instead on the weekend. And then I would do my marketing blog and write case studies about the stuff that I was doing during the week on weekends. And now people say that I'm lucky. They're like, you're so lucky. And I'm like, no, when you were watching TV or out drinking, I was working.
Yeah.
So I would just say that to everyone else too, which is like hard work will always pay off. So you look at your time. Is it really productive going out drinking? You can't cry victim if you
Mm,
just wasted 10 hours. Yeah, I've got TV now, but it's not something that I watch. I don't watch any sports.
right.
So it's if people could get into that mindset too, as well, you'd be shocked how many people who are successful don't waste any time.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's the biggest piece is when you're passionate about something, chase it, grind, and you will see success. And I just love every bit of that and truly so grateful having you on. Well, with that, that is going to wrap up another inspiring episode of Founders Future here. Geraint, just want to thank you again. An incredible journey. Happy birthday again. Truly appreciate you coming on the
Thank
show.
you so much.
Happy birthday, sharing your insights with us, and clear as day why you're seeing so much success and you're going to continue to see just great amounts of success. So I'm excited to keep following your journey. And to our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, which I know so many of you have, as did I, don't forget to subscribe to Founders Future wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. You can also check out MTHD Marketing at mthdmarketing.com for their proven marketing solutions, and follow Geraint on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/in/Geraint-Clarke. For more resources and insights, visit closers.io, where we're dedicated to helping businesses accelerate their growth through trained appointment setters and world-class marketing systems. Until then, keep climbing, and we'll see you on the next one.